Hey neighbors, Amber here with eTrailer. If you're an RVer, you know that there are a lot of things to get ready whenever you're planning to take your RV out. Now, a lot of people will just perform their usual checks and maintenance items at the beginning of the season and then consider it fine for the rest of the year. But recently we went on an eTrailer team camping trip, and that really drove home the importance of making certain checks every single time you get ready to travel. So without further ado, we're going to get into the checks that you need to make before you leave the driveway to prevent headaches and even prevent some catastrophes. So the number one cause of RV accidents out on the road are blown tires. So you want to make sure that you're checking your tires before every single trip and not just at the start of the season and then forgetting about them the rest of the time. You want to check the tire pressure using a tire pressure gauge. You want to check, make sure you have enough tread. You want to make sure that the tire is not dry rotted. Issues can pop up. You might run over a nail and not realize it. Your tire might be sitting flat in your driveway and you don't realize it until you get ready to leave. So you definitely want to check that. This is something that we did before our camping trip. We were going around checking the tire pressure on every tire, and we found that one of them didn't have enough tread. We found that one of them was pretty dry rotted, and we found that a few of them needed air. So thankfully this is something that we took care of before we left the parking lot and not on the side of the road after we got out there. Next thing you might be doing wrong is not checking your lights before you leave the driveway. Your lights and electric are one of those things that could be working perfectly fine one second and then not the next. So it's important to run a light test every time you get ready to leave. So have somebody come to the back of the trailer, apply your brakes, turn your blinkers on, put your hazards on, and just make sure everything is working. The last 2 years in a row that we got ready to leave for our camping trip, we actually found some electrical issues. Fortunately, we had a circuit tester on hand. We were able to troubleshoot the wiring issue and get it fixed before we left. If something like this looks a little bit intimidating to you, there are also 7-way circuit tester plugs that you can plug into your 7-way, and the lights will help indicate if one of your wires has an issue. But that just shows how important it is to make sure that it's working before you leave the parking lot. For one thing, it's a safety issue, but for another thing, you're not trying to get pulled over. Another thing you might be doing wrong, we've seen even really experienced campers get wrong, is not double checking that everything is properly connected and latched back here. I know that you've done it a million times, but because you've done it so often, it can be really easy to just overlook something. You might forget to pull your jack up all the way. You might forget to double check that your coupler is properly latched, or even forget a pin, which we don't have a pin today, but that's because we're using the Dimco Easy Latch coupler, which I definitely recommend because it's a lot easier to make sure that it latches into place. You want to make sure that you have your pin in your hitch. You want to make sure that your safety chains are connected. We also recommend crossing them like this so that if the coupler does fall, it falls into this cradle. Make sure your breakaway is attached. Just make sure that everything is latched, pinned, connected, everything the way it should be. And we recommend having somebody else double check, or even making a physical list that you can check off before you get ready to go, just to make sure that it is in your head. You're not just autopiloting through the connection process, and making sure that you double check that before you hit the road. And the last thing that you are probably doing wrong is forgetting to double and triple check that everything is secured and latched before you hit the road. This includes your windows, your antennas, your vents, your steps, your awnings, anything that could possibly stick out from your RV and camper. You want to make sure it's closed and secured down. But it's time for us to go hit the road. Well guys, these are some of the reminders that have served us well on our camping trips. We hope that they helped you too. If they prevent even one tire blowout or coupler failure out on the road, I think it's worth it. But are there any tips that we missed? Are there any hard-earned lessons that you have for us? Go ahead and leave them in the comments below. We want to hear from you. If you guys like that content and want to check out more, go ahead and click this video up here. To check out the products that we mentioned, click up here or visit the links down in the description. Check out our playlist over here or subscribe to our channel to see all the videos that our awesome eTrailer teammates put out.